this work?
Skip, how you like, do you see old Bron had that thing posed like?
You know, Pelinka, I'm glad you brought him up because Pelinka said he slimmed up and he looks a little heavy.
No, he don't. No, see, there you go.
I don't know.
There you go. Hating.
I'm not hating. I'm just truth-telling.
I do believe it'll work, Skip, and I believe LeBron and Russ have gone out of their way to make sure that it does work, Skip. When LeBron spoke about how we've been attached at the hip, basically since the trade has gone through.
He and Russ.
He and Russ. And Skip, that's what you want to do. You want to find out what the guy's like. You let him find out what you're like, get to know each other's family. You go to the gym, where you like the ball. This is where I like the ball. How you see the game, how I see the game. And they did a great job of that. They went out to Vegas, had a couple of practice sessions early before they kick it off today. And so I believe it's going to work. I believe these guys are going to do everything they possibly can to make sure that it works. Is it an ideal pairing? No, Skip, it's not ideal. But when two people want something to work equally as bad, there's nothing that they can't do if they want it to work. And I believe they want it to work. I believe that it will work. And I believe this is what I'm willing to do for you right here today. And you heard it first. Today is September 29th.
No. Is it 29th?
It is 29th.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It is 29th at 6:33 and 30 seconds.
Well, that's early.
If the LA Lakers stay healthy, we're going to be last team standing.
Done deal. You give yourself a little escape hatch there if they stay healthy.
If we stay healthy, we unbeatable.
Are you picking them right here, right now?
What part about that did you get?
Well, you've been picking the Nets all offseason.
Oh, well, I ain't picking them no more.
Really? So you got caught up in that pose that you just saw. It was
you know that to give everybody.
Yep.
That's that school picture in third grade.
So I must admit to you, when I saw the actual video of them posing for their still shots, it was highly impressive because it was a collection of 6 future Hall of Famers.
Yep.
And it actually, I'm not going to say it gave me chill bumps, but it was a cool shot. And I sat back and I thought about it. And then I thought about my man Shannon Sharpe, who actually didn't play in the NBA. He played in the National Football League. And he's actually in a Hall of Fame called the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Canton, Ohio. And I started thinking about these 6 future Hall of Famers in that pose. And I started to think, you know what? If they played Shannon's sport, if they were in the National Football League, I'm not sure we'd be talking about 6 future Hall of Famers because your Hall of Fame is much more difficult to get into than their Hall of Fame. Am I right about that?
I would think so, but they probably think theirs.
Okay.
Well, our Hall of Fame, Skip, doesn't take into account what you did in college, if you played overseas, Olympics, what you did in the NFL. That's the only thing that matters.
That is true. So my point is, like, for you were a great player, but it took you how many tries to get in? It took you 3 tries. We've gone on and on about other people we've had on the show.
T.O.
What was it? T.O. was 3, right?
Yeah, T.O. was 3, yes.
Chris Carter
was like 6 or 7.
God. Okay. So you have to pay a price.
Yes.
You have to pay your dues. Well, in the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, it just seems like just about anybody who has any credibility as a long-term NBA player, they're just going to get automatically rubber stamped into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So now I start to look at the careers of this collection of players. Let's just quickly take them one at a time. Would they make it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Let's look at Carmelo. Well, now he's 37 years of age. This is his 19th season.
Right.
Wow. He's going to turn 38 during the season, obviously. And he did win 1 scoring championship in 2013, but he didn't make any all-defensive teams, obviously. He was just a 10-time All-Star. So he was a scoring machine at his greatest, but lately he's tailed off. Now he's just become a role player. So Carmelo's record in the playoffs is 28-55. He's 3-13 in playoff series, and he's 2-11 in the first round of playoff series. So that means 2-11. So 9 times he's lost in
first round?
more than he's won. Okay, so 2-11 in the first round. Got to 1 conference finals. It was way back in 2008, and they lost to the Lakers in 6. Okay, so that resume, if I put it in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, It's highly debatable, and he's not going to be a first ballot.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, it's all dependent on the position that he plays. If you base it on quarterback with those numbers, he's probably not going to get in. But if you look at some of the other positions, you're a 10-time Pro Bowl player or you're a 4-time first-team All-Pro.
Right.
Well, now, if you're not a quarterback, those numbers are going to be good enough to get you into the Hall of Fame. We've seen the offensive linemen, defensive linemen, DBs, wide receivers, and things of that nature. Basically, Skip, you can make it the case that's a Calvin Johnson career.
Okay.
Calvin Johnson never won the Super Bowl. He probably has his win-loss playoff record is not very good, but we know what he was.
I'm not sure Carmelo was ever Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson, as Megatron, transcended pro football where nobody could stop him, right?
Carmelo was an offensive scoring machine. Now, I'm not saying Skip.
One scoring championship.
One scoring championship. Okay. But, Skip, you look at his career average.
Maybe. Okay, let's go quickly to Dwight. He is now 35.
Yeah, he's first ballot.
36.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's an 8-time All-Star, but obviously he's a 5-time rebound champ, 2-time blocks champ, and 3 times Defensive Player of the Year.
It's overdone.
Okay, you think that's just it?
That's J.J. Watt.
Okay, Dwight is 63-62 in the playoffs, and 1-1 obviously in the finals. And the one ring that he did win, he played a grand total of 12 minutes a game for the bubble Lakers. 12 minutes a game and averaged 3 points and 3 rebounds as a role player, a backup center, right? Okay, so the one finals he did win, he definitely had a role that he played, and it was a contributing role. I thought it was a significant role, but he was not a high-minutes starter.
Right.
Fair enough?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about, no. I thought you were talking about in Orlando. No, the team was built around him. Okay, yeah, the one day he won. Right.
Yes,
No. He wasn't a central figure.
Okay,
no.
So then we look at what's happened to Dwight Howard. Well, do you realize that since 2016, he's been on 7 different teams? Is that a first ballot Hall of Famer? No, seriously. If he were in your league when they have that session on Saturday where all the media people kick it around, this would be kicked around.
Yeah, it would, Skip. It's not going to be like Peyton Manning, where the guy stands up and says, okay, Peyton Manning, you stand up and sit down. Tom Brady, they're like, okay, it's Tom Brady, you pass it through. But, Skip, when you look at what he's done, his resume, his defensive resume.
Okay.
He was the preeminent big man of his generation.
Since 2016, he goes Houston, Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, Lakers, then to Philly, back to the Lakers. It's not pretty what happened to Dwight down the stretch of his career.
His first decade made him a first ballot Hall of Famer with those 3 Defensive Player of the Year, the All NBAs, the All NBA selection, the All Defensive selections. That made him in with the All Stars. So he was done right there.
Okay. Brings me to Rondo.
Okay.
Love Rondo. It felt like he was hitting the wall last year for the Clippers. I believe they decided that he's just getting old, like he's not that guy anymore. So you can't play him. You can't consider him to be a starter for your team. So we look at him at 35, going on 36 during the season, but he's a 4-time All-Star, which is pretty good. 3-time assist champ, pretty good. Obviously, one time well, let's do 4-time All-Defense. Okay, so that's pretty good, right? And he won the 2 championships. Okay, so is that a slam dunk Hall of Famer?
No, it's not a slam dunk. I don't know if he gets in on the first ballot, Skip, but you win 2 championships on 2 different teams. He was he was a factor in both of those championships. You mentioned the 4 assist titles. And Skip, when he was with the Celtics, Skip, he was they say a big 3, but it was a big 4 because it wasn't like he was a role player, he was a backup. He was a heavy contributor.
Okay. He has been now with 8 different franchises. Is that a Hall of Fame player? Why would he bounce around that much if he's a slam dunk Hall of Famer? Right?
Well, Skip, I think the thing is, late in your career, Skip, they move now, and I don't want people to say I'm saying, but Shaq was on 8 teams. Look at Shaq later in his career. He was at Phoenix, he was at Boston, he was at Cleveland, he was at Miami. So it happens as guys start to get older, Skip, and the thing is that when you're a great player and people only see you as great, and it's hard for you to remember, but it's hard for people to remember because they see Rondo at Atlanta, they see him at the Clippers, and they saw him at. But Skip, you got to look at what he did when he was at Boston.
Okay, I got it. So now I want to remind all those Laker fanatics out there, starting with the guy across from me, that Carmelo's going into his 19th season. Dwight's going into his 18th season. Rondo's going into his 16th season. These are aging players. If you think about what they once upon a time were, you say, oh, that was really great, right?
But you know what? You say Carmelo going into 19, Dwight going into 18, Rondo going into 16. You ain't mentioned anything else about that guy that going into year 19, because you know you better tread carefully. Tread carefully. He hears all.
Who is he joined at the hip with right now that you just mentioned? The flashpoint of that photo that we just looked at. The flashpoint. Really? Is he a first ballot? Russell Westbrook.
You better stop it, Skip.
He is going into his 14th season at age 32. And I'm talking about my analogy. If we put him into the discussion of Pro Football Hall of Fame, there would be discussion about him, because he has proven to be nothing so far through his 13 seasons in this league, nothing more than a solo act.
Skip.
He is a stat machine. Is he a winning machine?
It's like a running back, Skip. A running back with 4 rushing titles. A running back with 4 rushing titles is going to the Hall of Fame, whether or not they win the championship or not.
There are only 5 players on a basketball team at one time.
And here's the thing, Skip. You mentioned he's been an all-NBA player. He's been an MVP. He's been a scoring champ. And he had 4 times. In 4 times he's had a triple-double throughout the season. The case is closed. It's done.
He got to one final with the Baby Thunder. He flamed out in the games at Miami.
Skip, he had 44 in one game.
Okay, but in the first game there, I'll never forget the great Magic Johnson at halftime saying, I've never seen a point guard play a worse first half than he played in that game.
The man was 20.
Okay, well, he was very, they were all 20.
No, we don't do that. He needed a spanking.
Russell Westbrook is now 55 and 56 in the postseason. So he's a game under 500, and without Kevin Durant, he's 8 and 21. And as everybody infamously knows, that Kevin Durant finally said, I just can't win a championship with him as our primary decision maker. I got to go join forces with the guys we should have beaten, because we had them 3-1 down. And I am going to Golden State. And that was a resounding statement that he made about Russell Westbrook. Then we saw it happen again and again. We saw it happen with James Harden. We saw it obviously happen with Paul George. So all of a sudden, we look at a Russell Westbrook who, the stat machine, for the last 5 years, he's averaged a triple-double. It's impossibly great as a solo act. 4 times he has led the league in turnovers. 4 times he's finished second. 4 times he's led the league in usage rate. So he has to have the ball. 4 times he's finished second in usage rate.
I would like to think a guy that leads the league in rushing is probably going to lead the league in carries. I mean, there's a carryover. It's hard to imagine that the guy that leads the league in assists, because he has the ball, is not going to be a high turnover guy. Every once in a while, you get a guy like Stockton that doesn't try the fancy stuff. He's just basically bounce pass, chest pass. He's not going to try to no-look like Magic. He's not going to try to bounce from half court.
Is Russell Westbrook a winning player? Well, LeBron is hoping, I'm going to turn him into a winning player, which is why LeBron is keeping him at his side, joined at the hip, every moment he can, because he's trying to show him the way, the new way. In his 14th season, there's a different way to do this.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, is that when here's a player that you've never played with before, you've admired from a distance. And so it's very beneficial that you get to know what the guy likes, how he is, how he thinks, get to know him on a different level. Skip, get to know him on a different level than a distance. Yes, they've played together in All-Star games. Yes, they've competed against each other for a number of years, but how well do they actually know each other? So now that we're going to be playing together, that's what Tom did. What did Tom do? Even during the pandemic, he got the guys in the park, try to get them together to throw, but it's also an opportunity, Skip, to talk to them, get to know what they like, who are the guys that I'm going to be playing with? What's his family like? Obviously, they didn't get together, but talk to them. Are you married? You have any kids? What's your mom, your dad? Where'd you go? Where are you from? Ask all those things. These are the things that build camaraderie. These are the things that build relationships. And these are the things that help you get through the dogged days, because they're going to come a time with Skip on that Tuesday night in Orlando, or that Tuesday night where somebody that you should be and you're tired at a back-to-back. These are the type relationships that will propel a team through. So I believe that it will work, although it's not the perfect link. It's not the perfect marriage. But when two people, there's not a whole lot that two people can't accomplish if they put their minds together and this is what they want to do.
And I'm going to say it one more time. The man, Russell Westbrook, who wears number 0, will give you zero chance of winning a championship this year. He's just not built that way. He is the worst match for LeBron James I could pick. When I first heard it, I thought that's just wrong. And I believe LeBron will rue the day. He will regret the day that he decided, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to show the world that everybody else who left him was wrong because I can win with it. That's what LeBron's trying to pull off.
Is the ability to we will.
So is that your prediction now?
We will win.
You're off the Brooklyn Nets onto the LA Lakers? No, well, that's you've been telling me, oh, the Nets should be favored. They're going to win.
No, yes,
Okay.
Skip. Yes, they should be favored. The Lakers are the second. I think it's 225 for the Brooklyn Nets. I think it's 400 for the Lakers.
Well, what are you? Are you the flip on that now?
No, I don't flip.
Yeah. Which is it? You're not sure?
Game over.
You know what? I think it's game on because I think way deep down, I wish we had a lie detector here on Undisputed, because if we had a lie detector attached to Shannon Sharpe right now, it would be going like this. Zoo, zoo, every time he talks about Russell Westbrook, because he doesn't trust him any more than I do.
Healthy. I fear nothing. See why, Skip, I have the vaccine, so I don't fear COVID.
Okay.
You see how I did that?
Yeah.
We got the vaccine.
Wow.
He's number 6 now.
Okay.
They fear nothing.
Okay. Well, speaking of injuries, the one guy in that pose, as I look at it, there's only one guy left in his prime, and it's Anthony Davis at age 29.
Yeah.
But who is the most injury-prone of everybody in that shot?
It's been AD.
It's AD.
No question.
Okay. So the one guy left in his prime, sort of at the back
LeBron's
of his
still
prime.
in his prime.
He
He might be at the tail end of it, but he's still there.
LeBron, he's going to be 37 in
What that got to do with anything?
He's in his 19th year.
Is Tom Brady still in his prime?
Well, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Does LeBron James belong in the same sentence with Tom Brady? Absolutely
As a matter
not.
of fact, he belongs in the front of the sentence.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, LeBron James then Tom Brady.
Really?
In that sentence.
The guy who's 4-6 in the finals versus the guy he's on his way to winning 8 Super Bowls? Really?
Oh, he on his way? We're on our way to winning our 5th championship.
Are you?
Yep.
Are you sure about that?
Positive.
Okay, can we bet some future cases on it? Just why not? Let's just tee it up right now so that we have something to shoot at. I will bet you 10 cases the Lakers don't win. Why only 5? 5. Have the courage of your convictions.
Because I get 5 when we win the title. And we're going to bet some more for, I think they play Christmas Day, right? Don't they play Christmas Day? Yeah, Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah. I need to open me a couple of cases of Christmas.
I don't care about Christmas.
I do know. Oh, now you don't care about Christmas. When you was out here crowing.
I care about Christmas in the big picture.
No,
I don't care about the Christmas
You know what I'm
Day
talking about. I'm not talking about the day itself.
Yes.
I'm talking about you cared the last 2 years when the Clippers, you cared so much about
they
that.
were the team in the basement. They had to make statements, and they made a statement.
Still are.
Patrick Beverley made a statement to LeBron James, took the ball right out of his hand on a last-second shot, knocked it up over his forehead, off the top of his head, out of bounds. It was the play of the year.
And then what happened in March? In y'all building, what did we do to you? We sent you a message to let you know LeBron, he did it to Giannis. He went to me. He was in the middle. Did it to Giannis.
Are we talking about the Avery Bradley Memorial game in which he made 6 threes? If you get Avery Bradley to make 6 threes, you always got a shot.
We didn't have Avery Bradley in the bubble. Okay. Remember? And we did it to y'all opening night. Did it to you again. When he locked down Paul George, locked down Kawhi, made Kawhi pass the shot up.
You were the only team that wanted to be in the bubble, and you pulled it off. Congratulations, you beat the 5th seed in the East without 2 of its best players.
Guess what?
Way to go.
And we the only team that got those Jasons of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Big diamonds.
Yep, you did.
We need some really big rings
they're made of
for our really big team.
Zirconia. All those rings.
You're a hater. You got to stop this.
Come on, stop
This should be beneath you.
Well,
It's not, though.
They're bogus.
That ain't a bogus.
It's a bogus championship.
Okay, so
it deserves an asterisk, and I give it to you with an asterisk.
Tampa played in the pandemic.
Were they in a bubble?
Yeah, they was in a bubble. They couldn't go outside the hotel. They couldn't do anything. Everybody was isolated. Couldn't nobody do nothing. You had to wear a mask.
Yeah, my homeboy wanted to be there, and then he didn't.
So what about the injuries?
Well, I don't know. Did he have people out there blocking?
All he needs is people. Now I want you to keep that same energy.
Okay. All I know is the harder I looked at this pose of these 6 future Hall of Famers, the more flawed it got, because they're all way past their prime.
Says you.
And at least 3 of them are questionable Hall of Famers, and then a fourth,
ain't no
Russell
question.
Westbrook. Many people would sit back on Russell Westbrook and say, is he really just a slam dunk Hall of
Yes.
Famer? So he's just a stat machine.
Yeah, hey, stats, man. Hold on, Skip. That's why they keep him. If they didn't matter, they wouldn't keep him.
Huh. Interesting.
They keep stats for a reason.
Huh. LeBron's going to have a hard time with this guy. And he's standing right in the middle of the pose wearing the number 0. Yep. 0 chance of winning a championship. I'll
You're a
bet
hater.
10 cases right now.
You know what? I tell you what. I can't do any photo shoots. We do it again.
Really?
Because you be hating. I can't get my pose on. I can't get my pose on with knowing there's a hater beside me.
We did do a recent photo shoot, except we did it separately.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Exactly.
Okay.
That was what.
You
That
didn't
was
have to put up with me.
That was one of the stipulations because I knew I couldn't have a hater standing in my presence.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
You a hater, man.
You couldn't rise above me.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself for this.
Crazy what a
Proud of
photo
myself.
can bring out of you
I'm
guys.
on the record.
You
Boy,
on the record of being a hater.
such a fun season. I'm already looking forward to it.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.